All right, y'all, let's go Stars. That was a fun one. Before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to my buddies on the Defending Big D boards. There's some great conversation on there, great articles. You guys should check it out. If you like this content, help me get it out there. Subscribe, like, share it, comment, and that would help me out a lot. I appreciate you. This was our third overtime in a row. It was our fifth overtime of the season. We're on a 7-game point streak. In this game, we came back from 2-0 again. It sounds like we're on repeat here, but that's what we did. We came back from that and 3-1 in the third. So this team is a come from behind team. We're doing it time and time again this season. And I'm starting to feel kind of confident when they're down a couple goals that they're not out of the games. And so that's a good thing. You don't usually see that. And it's quite the fine characteristic to have. So Mikko Rantanen had another monster game, 2 goals, 1 assist. Great on him. He's on pace for 44 goals and 63 assists for 107 points. Right now he stands at 7 goals, 10 assists, 17 points in 13 games. Wyatt Johnston had 3 assists as well as the shootout winner. We'll talk a little bit more about all of that as we get further on in this broadcast. He also is on pace for 44 goals and just over a point per game. Heiskanen gets a goal. It was probably his best game of the year. Just, you know, I saw a lot of good things out of him. He made some really good passes, and things are looking like they're on the right trend for Heiskanen. For a couple teams that don't take a lot of penalties, Edmonton is the least penalized team in the league. They lost Corey Perry. They lost Evander Kane. So they're not as physical as they were last year in the playoffs when we saw them. And then the Stars I think they're ranked 25th or something like that in penalties. But we saw more than our fair share of penalties tonight, more than I would have liked to have seen. There wasn't really a whole lot of physical play. It was just the refs calling penalty after penalty after penalty. And, you know, sometimes you just got to let the guys play. I like to see good 5-on-5 physical hockey, and I don't want to see teams trade power plays the entire game. That's what we got for a good portion of this game, unfortunately. And I think that is part of why we didn't see a more physical game here tonight. Though I can't take all of the blame and put it on the refs. The whole game I was thinking to myself, where is the anger in the Dallas Stars team towards Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard, who, you know, they broke Rupe's foot in the playoffs. And then Bouchard targeted it when it came back. And so there should have been something that transpired to show them that we're not going to take that this year. It didn't happen. I'm disappointed that it didn't. I would imagine that Glenn Gulletson is probably disappointed that it didn't, or at least he should be. So, you know, this team, I still think that we need to pick up a couple more pieces that are physicality instigators, not just players that are going to answer the bell when it rings, but somebody who's going to go out there and stir the pot, somebody who's going to bring the ruckus. And I think it's going to help a little bit when Jamie Benn gets back, but he's in the twilight of his career, and he is not the same physical force that he used to be. So I'd really like to see this team add a couple more pieces, because Bastian and Ernie and Foxa are not... They're helping, don't get me wrong, but they're not exactly what we need. So I would say that this game really actually didn't get fun until the third period, and we'll go through how this game played out. So, in the first period, we had some early pressure. Renton almost scored on a weird play in front of the net. Then an early goal by Edmonton. They go up 1-0 on a goal from Podkolzin. Roslovic had a hell of a one-handed protecting the puck pass. He held off Harley out. He got position on him, out muscled him, and then made this deft pass across the ice to Podkolzin, who had pretty much an easy goal to score. And I think Harley probably would want to redo that one if he had the opportunity. So the Stars never seem to score first these days. They didn't tonight. Robo almost has a breakaway, but gets caught. His speed, though it's improved, is still not particularly fast, and was not able to capitalize on the opening that he had. Whereas some other players, like Hintz, hopefully he comes back, would have had that breakaway easily. So Lindell takes a cross check on McDavid. Edmonton gets a goal on the power play from Draisaitl. Harley has a failed clear that was stopped by Bouchard at the blue line. There's a tic-tac-toe pass, and then Draisaitl shoots it over the top of DeSmith from a really bad angle. This was a soft goal. It went over the top of him, and you just can't have that. So we're down 2-0, like always, and we get sort of a BS power play in our direction on a tripping call against that was called against Miko. So they go to the box. I didn't think it was a penalty, but the refs were calling everything. So we get a power play. We do nothing with it. There's another penalty against Dallas. This is turning into the special teams off that we just don't. I didn't want to see going into this game because it doesn't favor us, but that's what we're getting. And Roslovic ends up steamrolling to Smith, and there's a penalty on it, but there's absolutely no pushback whatsoever. And to me, that's unacceptable. There needed to have been something that was done at some point, and it doesn't need to be anything necessarily super major, but something needs to be done when somebody runs your goalie. And, again, the physicality that Gulletson harped on, and we saw a little bit in the early going of the season, we're not seeing it now, and it concerns me. So, then we have over a minute in the late stages of the period. We have over a minute of zone time. I don't think there was a shot. If there wasn't anything that was very threatening on it. So we're not looking good in the first period, even though we're up in terms of shooting. In the beginning of the second period, we're up 12-7 in shots. There's another garbage roughing call against Bischel. Harley loses a puck battle, turns it over in the D zone. Harley's been struggling. He's -6 in his plus minus, which is tied for the league for not the league lead but the team lead, along with Bork. And Bork also didn't have a good game, and those are players that need to step it up a little bit here. I know Harley's got some good offensive numbers, but his play in his own zone has been less than desirable. So then we get a goal for us on the power play. Rantanen actually drew the call, and then he goes to the net, gets the Wyatt Johnston rebound on the power play, puts it in. We're at 2-1. Halfway through the game, we're outshooting them 2-1, and then We get another cross-checking against Edmonton. I saw Tyler Sagan doing some good things, winning puck battles. I see a lot of little things that he does very well that don't necessarily end up on the scoreboard, but he's just a very good all-round player, underrated in terms of what he brings to the table. So then Bischel gets knocked down at the end of the period. Uh, I, I've been noticing that he's been getting knocked off the puck a little easier. I don't see him out muscling players like he did last year, where he was just it was like a man against boys out there, and I'm wondering if he lost strength in the off season due to an injury. I think they had talked about a shoulder issue or something, but Bischel just doesn't seem quite like the monster he was last year. We go to the third period, and I'm thinking to myself that this game is not quite as fun as the last couple games that we've had against the Florida teams. Um, the Edmonton Oilers end up getting another goal earlier in the period. Connor McDavid gets it. Bork turns it over as he's exiting our D zone and going off for a line change after he turns it over. Just a rough one to see. And Mangiapane gets it to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who gets it to McDavid. Yawning open net, puts it in. We're at 3-1. But right back at him less than a minute later, Petrovic intercepts the neutral zone puck and immediately gets the outlet pass to Wyatt, who takes the line, goes wide, makes a great cross ice pass to Mikko, who gets control of it with his leg, and then it knocks it to himself, pulls it from behind him, and shoots it. Just a beautiful, skilled play by Mikko. Just impressive. Doing what Mikko does night after night. So now we're at 3-2. I see Mikko run over a guy with an open ice hit. I mean, he is the new beast mode for this team. And it's awesome to see. He's just a pleasure to watch out there. There's not a lot of players in the league that can do what Mikko does. So then we get another goal, and it's 3-3. So Heiskanen gets a nice bank pass to exit the D zone, and makes its way into the offensive zone. Ronsonen has a nice pass to Johnston, who shoots it wide, and it bounces perfectly to Heiskanen, who's on the other side of the net, coming towards the net. Wide open net, puts it in. So I also noticed towards the end of the period, Oscar Beck playing the body a little bit along the boards. Not super physical, but I've seen more stick play, more soft play out of him. So I like seeing that. He's a big guy. He should use that size of his more, and if he can do that more, it's going to help his game a lot. So he's actually Oscar's on the second line now instead of Bork. So I think after that play, he took a little bit of a demotion from the coach there, and I can't blame Golitzson for that one bit. We're back into overtime, and have we not seen this before, right? So we go to overtime, and I loved the play by Glenn Golitzson here. What he does is he's got just a death squad of McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard to go up against. And instead of trying to outgun them and putting our best offensive players out there, he puts Miro, Steele, and Lindell. And I thought that was a great move. We make it through overtime. Hartley actually had a good defensive play in the dying seconds to break up a play. So we make it to the shootout, which I always like to see because we are money in the shootout as long as we're not hitting posts. like we did the other night, but we're typically money. The first shot is McDavid, and the Smith makes a great poke check, doesn't even get a shot off. Kind of an old school play that you don't see as much anymore, but you used to see out of Marty Turco for one. Loved the way Marty Turco used to do that, and this brought me back to some of the Marty Turco days. So then Robo gets that shot of his that's absolutely money. That same goal, high in the net, does it over and over again where he pulls it and shoots it up. Just a great move that is kind of reminiscent of the Jussi Jokinen move that nobody could stop. He's got one of those as well. So then Draisaitl comes back and scores a beauty. This stick tuck behind Deke that Madonna actually used to do. So that was cool to see. And then Mikko Rantanen misses the net. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins gets stopped by DeSmith. Nice kick save with the pad there. And then Wyatt Johnston with the beauty high above the glove. And we win the game. Great game from Wyatt. We had a lot of people that had really good games here tonight. And just a feel-good end to a game that for a while felt like we were going to have some PTSD from just getting trounced by these guys in the playoffs last year. So really, really fun stuff. We, as of the time of this recording, we moved up to 8th in the league in terms of the standings, but we stay in the wild card 1 spot because the Avs, the Preds, the Wild, the Mammoth, and maybe even the Jets later tonight pick up points in the Central. So it is the murder, death, kill division, as always, that we've got to contend with. We've got to keep picking up points. And, man, I mean, we got 7, only 10 to go to to tie the record. So let's see what they can do, right? We go on to the next one. I look forward to bringing you guys some more content. And if you want to get in touch with me, I can be reached at The Foil Hockey. That's TheFoil hockey @gmail.com.